This is a demonstration of the tanks level created by Crystal Display using Libpd4Unity to control all of the audio within the game. So we have the interactive music. And we're going to get one of the tanks started so that we can hear the motor sound going from idle to driving, idle to driving, idle to driving, and the explosions. Now we go and find the other tank, and the other tank also works with idle and driving. That's being triggered from Unity into pure data from the two states. So we'll see if we can make one of them win. Not very good shot. And wins the round, and the round 2 also triggered through pure data. Now using the motor sound of the driving, and the hold the trigger down with the explosion. Now successive fire. Driving, and the winds around also being triggered again. So the whole integration is working smoothly between Unity and pure data. So now I'm going to walk through the scripts that I've used, initially starting on the main camera rig. On the right hand side at the bottom there's been a libpd filter read script which has been assigned to the name of patch of main tanks PD. Main tanks PD is the major pure data file that will be read by the C# scripts that have been assigned to them. I'm now going to walk through all of the scripts that I've used to be able to initiate the control information from Unity to pure data. So if we go into the scripts, the first one will be the game manager. Just wait for MonoDevelop to open up a second in the code here. But here we've started to tell Unity that we are going to be using the libpd binding, and throughout the script here I initially sent one here, for instance. So I'm just going to look for all of the libpd send bangs. This one's going to round, so it's calling the instance of round, or sending the bang of round to the receive container inside of pure data of this argument here. There is also a number of them in this one where we have wins around is being sent to round, draw is being sent to draw, and wins is being sent to win just here. So those are the ones that are going from this C# script, and I focused upon the tank movement and tank shooting. So tank movement, we're using libpd binding again. At the top you'll see, and on the tank movement I've done two different states. One where there's one when it's idle here, where it's sending a bang to PD engine to idle the trigger, and here where we are driving when the actual vehicle is driving. Now I set up 2 individual motors with different envelopes, etc., within inside of Pure Data to emulate when an engine is idling or when an engine is driving, and so that it would actually operate for both tanks at the same time. Otherwise, when I initially started the patch, I came up with a conflict where it was trying to idle and drive at the same time. So the only way to get around that was to actually create 2 separate states inside of Pure Data, where the patches were receiving one for driving and one specifically for idling, so that both tanks can use it within inside of the Unity development code. For tank shooting, we will go there quickly as well, and we will see that we're using Libpd binding, and I only used one explosive sound patch that we are triggering, and you'll see, hang on, we're still in movement at the moment, we are Libpd binding again here for tank shooting, and upon here we are sending a bang to trigger the explosion in Pure Data when the when it's updated that the get button down has been pressed. This is when the big long arrow comes along the screen, and then there's also one where we are sending one just on fire, because there's obviously 2 there's a private code here on fire where the explosion is still requiring to happen, so the send bang is also being sent over to the receive in Pure Data. Now I'm just going to go into the Pure Data patches. So we will go into the streaming assets folder and the Pure Data assets. And this is the main tank's Pure Data script. And you'll see here we're receiving an explosion, we're receiving the idle, this is for the motor, and driving for the motor. We're receiving the music, this is for the interactive music. We're receiving win, we're receiving draw, and we're receiving round throughout the game. So the explosion bang, you won't actually hear it because I'm purely speaking through the microphone, but I will also just show you inside the patches. So Explosion Factory is actually one that was taken from a scientific press, and the inlet here has been associated to the boom, and it's going back out into the outlet tilde, and the control element here, when we go back to it, has been set for 0.3. It's just for mixed purposes here, but in this one, for instance, is on the PD motor idle has been set inside of the patch. Now this was the tricky part of the motor, was when it's idle, for instance. This one here on the envelope, if I go, these are all the controls of the actual set amounts for the different brush levels, the rotor levels, the max speed, etc., and the volume for the idle. But if I actually go into to the idle, you will see here that this is an envelope. It's an envelope that has got a slope down to that is present in idle and it's not in driving mode. This is like kind of, if there was a curve, then a curve would go up like this here, and it would go up like this, and then it goes and evens out and goes down to a slope like this, so the audio would cut, so which is what happens in the idle version. Yeah, if I go to the main motor driving, and you'll see the motor envelope. Here it's been disabled, so the slope disabled, so that there's a constant engine sound. So the way in which that's been achieved is by removing the split at this junction here, so that you don't have the negative tilde being taking the envelope down. So that took a little bit of working out to get that to work efficiently, but that was through Mr. Farnell, that one. PD Music is actually a random generated sequencer along with a completely looped piece of music that I created for Tank World. So it's looped because of the read.sf file. The loopback file here is re-triggered from the output of the read.sf and goes back in. This one disables that here by sending it a 0 message at this point. Load bang is instantly triggering a 0 message to the Metro upon start and also to the OSC on start, so that you don't end up with this constant sound that is generated from the tone generator here. And so that the bang worked, because there was another little issue, so that's why the load bang is set there. These are pretty simple. They're just simple playback of the read.sf files that will play once, and here are the mix levels throughout the whole of the patch being sent to the output, which is now understood through Unity.